Alright, and we are back. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This isn't my first 100% video back. I believe I'm putting my Pan That Palette update before this one, so if you missed that, I'll throw it up in the cards. But I'm just getting off of a 1-month YouTube and mostly social media break. And you know what? I gotta say, I'm very happy to be filming again. I love YouTube. This is my hobby. The problem is I've not been treating it as a hobby. I've been treating it as a part-time job. And even though I did the same thing last year, I took the same amount of time off as a break, and I came back essentially to the same conclusions, almost. I didn't really follow through with it that much last year. So I figured we could do a chatty get ready with me. I will do a full face of glam makeup because, I haven't really been doing full glam lately. And I just have like a burning need to do like a really pretty deep smoky eye. So I got these shades from my Pan That palette. I want to do like a dramatic smoky eye. So we're going to do that. And I'm going to talk through what I realized during my YouTube break, what I'm going to do moving forward. And then, some kind of bochinche on short form beauty content and what I think about it. So I'm going to call this type of get ready with me now. I'm bringing back the Bochinche Chat. If you've been with my channel for a little bit of time, I used to do live streams a bit more often, and I would call those Bochinche Chats. And if you don't know, Bochinche, it's a Spanish slang, specifically Puerto Rican Spanish, and it just means like gossip. You're gossiping, you're talking, and I just thought it sounded nice, Bochinche Chat. So we're going to bring those back, and that's just what I'm going to call some chatty get ready with me's, and maybe just chatty videos overall, because I feel like there are times where like I kind of want to just get on camera and just like talk and just kind of rant for a little bit, but it doesn't necessarily fit in any of my other content. So I feel like if I start doing like a Bochinche Chat kind of series, I can just kind of hop on with whatever pops into my head and it would kind of have a place to live, right? So that's the thought. Right. So since I'm going to do such a dramatic smoky eye, I'm going to do my eyes first. I did just do my eyebrows. Recently, I've actually really been liking this tinted brow gel from Kosas. This is the Air Brow, and it's actually in the shade black. I have been like dying for an actual black brow gel because most brands will come out with a brow gel that they'll call it obsidian or black, but really it's just like a really, really dark, warm brown, and it's not at all what I want. I like having cool, dark hair. I like having a cool, like almost blue black kind of look to it. And so this is actually one of the first ones I found that actually is black. So I like this. If you guys have any other recommendations for brow gels that are actually like black and not just brown, let me know down below. But I just threw this through my brows, and then I topped it off with this ABH Clear Brow Gel. I got this as like a point perk from Sephora. And honestly, it's not as good as I remember it being. I don't know if that's just the quality of ABH has been going down or if they're skimping out on like the little freebies that they give out. But honestly, I'm just using it to use it up. So I just use that to actually give hold, because this one doesn't really have any hold. It's really more just to tint your brows. And then this one actually gives hold. So I grabbed these shades from my Pan That palette. I'm going to go ahead and show you. It's kind of hard to show. It's such a big palette. But this is this shade right here, that shade, and then this shade. There's nice kind of like coppery. They're all shimmers. I'm going to go for like a very shimmery kind of look. And then later on, I'll pick a shade for the inner corner. But those are these, and I swatched it and they just look so pretty together. So I think it's gonna make a really pretty look. And then as my base, I went and I rebought for the first time in a long time some of the Urban Decay primer potion. So I have this one, and then I have the shade Eden, which is like if I can grab it, the tinted one. I haven't used that one yet, but I've really liked using the original primer potion, especially with this palette. The primer potions are also super convenient for actually getting it on your lid like that. I noticed that all of the eyeshadow primers that I had for a long time, they were all like in a pot. So I had to get a brush, come in and do this. Whereas with this, I can kind of just like throw it on with the applicator and then blend it out like this. And in the morning, especially when I'm trying to like do something relatively quickly so I can start working, this is so easy. Now for brushes, I literally had my old ABH highlighter brush fall apart on me the other day, and I asked for recommendations on my community tab for brushes, and someone mentioned the Moda Pro brushes, so I actually bought a full set of the Moda brushes, so I'm gonna use those for today's Get Ready With Me. The number 2 or the number 1 brand that was most highly recommended to me were the BK brushes, and I don't know if I'm living under a rock, I probably am. I've never heard of those brushes before, so I might do that as a video later on. I'll actually go through looking at the website, picking some out, and then actually testing them out. So it'll be a little bit down the road, but I'm thinking about it because so many people recommended those. All right, now before the primer dries, I'm gonna hurry up and just throw the lightest shade all over my lid. And then we can start talking about the YouTube break. So again, this YouTube break, I feel like I really needed it. I am so bad at giving myself time to rest. I noticed even like last weekend, last Sunday, when I didn't have any YouTube work to do. I literally spent the whole day deep cleaning the apartment when I didn't really need to. We had deep cleaned it. Like, we had a dinner party here a couple weeks ago for my grandmother's birthday, and we deep cleaned the apartment before that, and that's something like Alvin helped me with. We deep cleaned everything, got ready for the party. And after that, there really isn't too much to maintain. You need to do like a good deep clean for us, like once a month. And then outside of that, it's just kind of like your regular weekly maintenance. But I don't know. I'm just so harsh on myself, and I feel like I am like too productive. Especially because it's what comes easily to me. It's easy for me to organize and clean and figure out your best productivity, right? It's harder for me to slow down and actually give myself rest. Okay, so the first two like bullet points I have on my list for my YouTube break were literally like the exact same that I came to from last year's break. I could literally throw that clip in right here because I basically came to the same conclusions. And my first problem was not adjusting my schedule when like my life circumstances changed. Like when I became full-time at my job, I did not cut my videos down. There was one point where I think it was right when I left my bookstore job, got the job that I currently, with the company that I'm with right now. And then I was like, also, I started the job at Sephora, which I only worked for a little bit, but technically I had like 2 full-time jobs and I was doing YouTube. I was burning myself out. So part of all of that, like after like realizing like I kind of had a history of doing this, I really wanted to look back and think, okay, why? Wow, I look terrible with just this on. But I really wanted to look back and like try to like find like what's the crux of this issue. And part of it was my response to stress. And I realized after much reflection that my response when stressed was to work more, to like distract myself from the stress, and I just keep going. So I realized that when I was overwhelmed and burnt out, my first instinct, which is not correct, first I had to realize my go-to behaviors and my go-to instincts were not correct ones. They were not good ones. But my first instinct was to find more work to take my mind off of everything and just to keep plowing along, like just nose to the grindstone, work, work, work. And an example of this recently was I was kind of feeling this burnt out back in November and early December, to the point where I know I wasn't going to do Vlogmas. I just could not like do Vlogmas. But you know what I did instead? I decided to do 2 different daily posting challenges on TikTok. I posted daily. I did a Shop My Stash advent calendar where Alvin actually picked out a bunch of makeup products. He wrapped them for me, and then every day I would unwrap one and do a look with one of those products, which was, I gotta admit, a lot of fun, but it was a lot of work. It took a while to film, it took a while to do the look, it took a while to edit the TikToks, it took a while to post them. So not only was I daily posting on my personal TikTok for that, I also decided to do a daily posting advent calendar for Rex. So I had 2 daily posting things on TikTok. It was the holidays, so I had family obligations and family things to do, and I still had my YouTube channel and my job, and I still had my job. I worked through the holidays too. Yeah. And a big part of the reason why like these behaviors and this routine has lasted so long is because I was also proud of it. I was so proud of like my work ethic, which is a good thing to be proud of, but not to the extent that I was taking it. I was taking it far beyond where you should be proud of or what you should be doing. It wasn't really a work-life balance. It was a work balance, which no, because it was affecting me, it was affecting my job, it was affecting our relationship to an extent, because my overproductiveness was bleeding into our weekends, and Alvin started getting burnt out just from like doing some things with me, and that really helped me think. I was like, oh wow, I need to chill out. So I know it's a lot to work through, and I'm not saying this month off has like cured me. No, if anything, having the time away helped me kind of identify these behaviors and these activities so that I can hopefully work on them moving forward. I still compared myself to my favorite YouTubers, despite the fact that 98% of them did YouTube as a full-time job, and comparing myself to their video quality, their productivity, their schedule is ridiculous, and still is. A lot of smaller YouTubers I used to love watching stopped posting completely or like barely post at all. So I had to admit I wasn't as inspired because I got a lot of inspiration from the community that I was following. So I realized that I also kind of had to spread out my subscription list, my to watch list, because I lost a lot of the people that I used to love watching. And then when I went to go back and rewatch some of their older content, a lot of them have scrubbed it. So anyway, literally the exact same from my last YouTube break. So after last year's break, I decided to cut down to one video a week, but I got into some bad habits around that. By bad habits, I mean I was still like being really strict on myself. Like I had to film every weekend and I had to edit every weekend or weekday, and I had to put more, because here's the thing. I was cutting down to one video a week, but then I was putting almost the same amount of time and effort that I was into my previous schedule just into that one video a week. So I didn't really gain any time. I just switched it, right? I was putting more effort into each video, taking more time, filming every weekend, and that was like the exact opposite of what I needed to do. It made no sense. Okay, so editing Monica is jumping in here because I feel like I really didn't do a good job like explaining what I was trying to explain here. So this isn't gonna make a whole lot of sense unless you do or involved in some way in like filming in batches or whatnot. But the issue is that the basic advice they give if you're ever going to be doing like content like this is that you should batch create content so that you're not constantly having to film, edit, like do it linear. The best way to do it and to save time and everything is to like film 3 videos at once, and then you edit the 3 videos over the course of like a week, and then you post them and you spread them out, which is what I used to do. Like I used to do that all the time. I would film like 2 or 3 videos on a weekend, and then I would edit and post them, and then I would have time, maybe the next weekend would be open, I wouldn't have to film that weekend. But I got in this really bad habit where I was only filming one video every time I sat down to film a video, which was not efficient at all, because it meant that every Sunday, like half of my Sunday every week was filming a video, editing that video, like I was doing it all in that one day. And I was only filming one video a week, so there was only one video a week going up, but like it was taking so much more time because I was no longer batch creating, if that makes sense. So even though I technically lowered my schedule down to only one video a week, I was spending more of my time every week doing it. So it wasn't efficient, and it ultimately led me to burn out even faster, because if I batched up like what I'm doing right now, finally, I'm fixing it. I am filming 3 videos like on a Sunday, and that means I don't have to film every single Sunday. Like the next 2 Sundays, I could just do a little bit of editing, or I can actually relax and have a day off. So if I batch create like that, if I batch film and everything, it's so much better in the long run. And so what I was trying to say here is that in like the last year, I had gotten into this really bad habit of only filming one video at a time, so I had to film every single week. I hope that helped. So I wrote, honestly, everything previously that I said the same thing last year. And last year, I just did a bad job at actually following through with, like, good, purposeful action. The new schedule, once a week, did help, but not nearly as much as I thought or I needed it to. And so what I need to do now is something not drastic, but a very different. So I came to the conclusion that I need to make, like, actual uncomfortable change, because like I said earlier, it comes naturally, it comes easy to me to overwork and plan and like fill my time with things to do. It's a lot harder for me to take a step back and legitimately give myself room to breathe. I feel like I always have to be busy and productive at every point of every day. If it's not YouTube, I was forcing myself to clean the whole apartment. If it wasn't cleaning the apartment, it was reorganizing and planning, and it was doing something all the time. And that is not a sustainable way to live. And it's one thing to identify it, because I feel like last year I did a good job of like exploring and identifying the problem, but then I really didn't do a whole lot to like rectify it. So I feel like maybe this year I need to get better at actually rectifying it. And I think a big part of that is to do stuff that makes me uncomfortable. Like for me, something uncomfortable would be not having a schedule. So that's what I'm going to do. I am no longer going to have a strict YouTube schedule, because previously, even when it was only one video a week, I was like, it's one video a week, it goes at 7 a.m., it's on this day at this time, and I was so strict with myself to always hit it. Now, I don't even want to say I want to aim for one video a week, but I'm only going to guarantee my Pan That Palette updates. Everything outside of that, I'm going to do my best to just like film when I have energy or when I have time, and edit when I can, and not push myself to do more, because again, I have a full-time job. Alvin and I are gonna hopefully like get married and start looking for a house later this year. And there's going to be a lot more, and I do want to like document that on my vlog channel. And I do want to share that with you guys, but I can't be so rigid with like my scheduling and with everything else. Like eventually, you know, life is going to ebb and flow, and sometimes the YouTube channel is going to be on the ebb side. So specifically, I was thinking about like measurable goals I could make. The not having a schedule is going to be the biggest one. I'm going to have one video a week at most. I'm not going to pick a specific day of the week to post. I'm going to just kind of post whenever the video is done, essentially. And my goals for the year, my goal words are going to be flexibility, balance, and forgiveness. I need to be flexible with my schedule, so it doesn't always have to be so rigid. When anything doesn't go according to my plan, I don't hopefully feel as anxious about it, because I do find that whenever we plan something and something doesn't go according to plan, that's when I feel the most anxious. I'm not really a go with the flow kind of person. Alvin is, but I'm not. I need to get better at that. So I want to get better at being flexible. I want to have better balance between what I'm doing, and that means that my schedule, my routine can change from week to week depending on what I need. I need to listen to my body and listen to me a bit more and not just push through it for the sake of productivity. And then forgiveness. I want to forgive myself for what I am being so strict on myself for. I need to start treating myself the way I treat other people, which is with kindness and understanding and forgiveness. But I feel like that always applies to everyone else, like, but me. You ever feel that? Like, it's like everyone gets, you know, everyone deserves kindness and forgiveness and everything, except for you. Why? You don't get that. You have to stick to your schedule. You have to do this, you know? So that's it. So I'm going to update, I don't know, my schedule. I don't want to have like a strict schedule anymore. So I'm only going to guarantee, like, most likely the first week of the month is going to be a Pen That Palette update. But then outside of that, videos are going to get posted when they get posted. And actually, it's always on the long breaks when I end up coming up with like a bajillion video ideas. So I have like 10 video ideas already. This is when I feel the most productive, right? But I'm going to do my best to space that out. So you'll have plenty of videos coming. It's just going to be a bit more random than it was before. So I'm liking this so far. I think now I'm going to go in with foundation and start working on that. So let's move all this out of the way. All right, let's go through what I'm going to be using for the next few steps before I forget. I have this little sample of the Natasha Denona Skin Glass Primer. I want to use that today. For foundation, I'm going to mix together two foundations, one that's too light for me, one that's too dark. I have the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation in the shade 1.5 and the KVD Good Apple Serum Foundation in the shade 008. Way too light, way too dark. Hopefully, well, it'll turn out good. My first time trying it, so we'll see how it works. For concealer, I want to use the Naked Quickie Concealer. And then for powder, I've got the Laura Mercier Translucent Powder. This is the mini I bought for travel that did not end up happening, so I'm trying to go through all my minis. And then for face powder, I've got the AOA Studio Perfect Pressed Face Powder. This I just recently repressed because I hit pan, like really big pan in 2 of these, so I just mixed what was left together to make it a little bit easier to use with a brush. All right, so specifically, another goal that I had surrounding my channel is that I want to diversify my content a bit and make it so it's not always a like high production value video that requires me to get ready, sit here, get my ring light out, kind of everything. I want to be able to throw in some stuff that's a little bit not low effort, but a little bit different, that doesn't have quite as much planning or like work behind it. And I think shorts is where it's gonna be. So interestingly enough, that primer feels pretty nice on my face, but on my hands, it leaves like this sticky, weird, like residue, which I kind of want to wash off, but we're going to push through it. But anyway, so I was saying, I'm thinking of posting to shorts more. Now, I have to say, I did really stop using Instagram, and I did delete TikTok. I might come out with a full video about, like, how I felt TikTok, like, rotted my brain, and how much, like, short-form content just really just exhausted me, which is, it's a weird thing to say, but it's true. And for me, it was difficult at first because I didn't really want to film something that I didn't enjoy watching. That's why they always say, by they, I mean like YouTubers, people who give YouTube advice or any kind of creative endeavor advice. They say, really, you should only film what you would like to watch. And to me, like short form content, for beauty anyway, I did not enjoy watching. I really did not. I would like TikTok for other reasons. I loved a bunch of different other types of videos on there, but for the beauty content, I did not like short form beauty content at all. But I do think there's a way that I could use the short form video to kind of get different things across that won't require me to go through, not the hassle, but all the work of like preparing for a full sit down video, right? So I think there are ways I could leverage it, like doing follow-up quick little reviews or everyday makeup baskets, because I noticed Shop My Stashes and everyday makeup baskets honestly are a pain to film using this camera and using my full setup. But with a phone, it is so much easier. I kind of just get in there and film. And I do still have an everyday, makeup drawer that I do switch out every now and then. So that's might be something I would throw onto shorts. But it was hard at first trying to get over that hump of, I don't really like watching short form beauty content. And the reason that is, let me start actually putting foundation on my face before I just start talking about how much I hate beauty on TikTok. I've already got a little brush hair on my face. But the reason I don't like short form beauty content is, like, to me, short form beauty content is like all of the worst parts of YouTube beauty content distilled into like 60 seconds. It's like everything I really did not enjoy. Like I don't want to say the beauty community this, the beauty community that, because the beauty community is so huge that there are so many different aspects, sections, subcultures that it's hard, you can't really distill it down to just the beauty community. But honestly, it was like everything I disliked about beauty content was what did the best on TikTok. Like the overreactions, like, oh my god, I love this, it's amazing, you can't live without it, and the shocked, the annoying thumbnails, the annoying faces. I just can't, honestly, I can't stand that shit. It is so annoying. And also, damn, this is light. What the hell is happening here? I'm gonna have to powder this down and blend it in, because Jesus. But literally, it's like everything I did not like about long form content was distilled into the short form content. And you can see that with like the beauty gurus on TikTok, like Michaela, just with Lashgate. Literally, it's the same shit that happened on YouTube 6-7 years ago is now happening on TikTok. And I just don't have the energy or the patience. That's like, I do not have the patience to go through all of that again. I just don't. Okay, so we're looking a little bit better. I still need to like powder this down and probably use a decent amount of like bronzer, but not terrible. It looks crazy on camera right now. Apologies. We'll fix it. So I wrote a note down because I had notes for this video, and the note about the TikTok is just like, it's exhausting seeing the exact same drama and issues play out over and over again on a new platform. I literally just don't want to experience it all again. I've gotten real big lately, like in the last year or so, about protecting my peace. And that's something, especially if you come from a like not great family background and having like, I don't want to get too much into it, but there's so much that you give up when you're dealing with like toxic family or anything, just for the sake of their peace, and it's easier for them to deal with. Lately, I've really been giving it my all to protect my own little family, Alvin and I and Rex, and our own peace. And until, super recently, that was really mainly about just like setting boundaries with family, setting boundaries around some other things. But I've noticed that it's also been leaking into the content I consume. Like, I just need to protect my peace. And for me, it was not peaceful. Let me just do this without talking first. There we go. Like, Twitter was ruining my peace. Because, I deleted Twitter like over a year ago now. Because I could not stand the toxicity. So, like, Twitter and now TikTok. Because I called TikTok, like, the junk food of social media. Because it wasted a lot of time. And every time I would spend a while scrolling on TikTok, it was like the easiest thing to do, but I felt terrible afterwards. Like I would feel like I just binged on like a bunch of just like super unhealthy food. Like, how every now and then when you want to eat McDonald's, but then like you feel kind of gross afterwards? That's what it felt like going on TikTok. And I realized I wasn't alone after watching Taylor Wynn's, not latest video, it was a little bit ago, but I'll throw the video up in the cards, where She specifically mentioned that she felt worse after spending time on Instagram and TikTok, and I felt the same. I would come away from Instagram and come away from TikTok feeling blah. Like, just, I don't know how else to explain it. It was just blah. I'm gonna go in with powder now. But I felt blur. And after spending time on YouTube, I feel the opposite. Like, after spending time on YouTube, I'm entertained, I'm happy, I feel at peace, you know, I'm informed. But, like, after spending time on the other social media platforms, it made me feel worse. You know, this is interesting. I just bought these puffs off Amazon because I've been seeing triangle puffs kind of everywhere. And I mainly just use the puffs to set my under eye, so it seemed like it would work really well. And it does get into there, like, really easily. So yeah, all said and done, I deleted my TikTok, and I really spend minimal time on Instagram now. So I really am more on the side of making, like, YouTube not only, like, my main social media, but, like, my only social media. Because it's the only one that I still feel happy going on. That's kind of sad to say, huh? And another part of this is that I don't really want to get too into it because I could honestly do a whole video on it. But, like, the current beauty trends, the kind of makeup application and products and stuff, techniques that are trending right now are, like, not what I like about makeup. Like, I wear makeup to be creative and to do, like, full glam, to have fun with it. I don't want, like, barely there makeup because I don't feel like I need to wear makeup. Like, I wear makeup for the artistry of it. Not because I feel like I need to have, you know, certain things concealed or covered or done before I leave the house. Because I feel like that's an exhausting way to live, right? But anyway, so that's another thing. It's like all the big makeup products, the big techniques, it's all about, like, barely there makeup. No makeup. And that's not what I'm here for. Okay, so we're looking a little bit better. We're going to start warming this up now. For contour, I'm going to be using this gray shade from the Lunatic Cosmetic Labs contour book. And then for bronzer, I need a really good bronzer. So I'm bringing in, this is a Milani Baked Bronzer. What shade are you? In the shade Dulce, number 9. And this is, like, one of the most natural looking bronzers. And I feel like I'm going to need a lot of bronzer today. So figured we would go with a natural looking one. It's a little thicker than the contour brushes I would normally use, but the only thing that Moda, I don't think they sell, are, like, duo fiber, like, blending brushes like I really like. So I'm going to grab some of my older ones and just blend. And I think since we went a little light, I'm going to also contour, like, down here to kind of bring everything together, make it full glam. You know, let's just do the double chin while we're at it. Let's go nuts. There we go. There we go. Warmed up everything. But we're looking a little bit more alive, shall we say. Now, recently I've been, like, on a peach kind of blush kick, but I've really loved this Milani blush. It's in Rose d'Oro. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right. I'll check that later. But it's, like, this pretty, like, glowy, peachy, like, almost a deep peachy kind of shade that I've been loving recently. Let me see, do I have a nice blush brush here? Let's try this one. And this just looks so pretty. I feel like this isn't a good brush for this. Let's try this one. I don't know why. I feel like I'm not getting a good blush application, so I'm going back to my usual Real Techniques brush. There we go. That's better. And this one, I do like to go a little heavy with this because this is such a pretty color. And I will blend it in a little bit, but also it matches the eye look pretty nicely. And should I go with the cold girl look? We'll do it a little bit. Why not? Oh, that's cute. Let's blend. So for highlighter brushes, I've got, like, 4 different options here. I have the Moda Pro BMX 220 Radiance, the BMX 255 Accentuate, the something, this one. I think this was a free gift that came with the purchase. And then the BMX 265 Glow. So I think to start off with, this one looks the closest to what I'm used to working with, these two. So let me try these. And for highlighter, I've really been enjoying going back to the ABH Glow Kit. This is the Sugar Glow Kit, and I really like the shade Marshmallow and Starburst, excuse me. And then the Physicians Formula Shimmer Brick in Natural Nude. So I think I'm going to do the Glow Kit. And I'm going to take Starburst first and kind of put it on the high of the cheekbone. Ooh. I like the way this applies. And then I'm going to take the other brush, take Starburst as well, over on this side. So I like a really fluffy highlighter brush. I hate the ones that are just like really stiff. Okay. I feel like this would work better for highlighting the tip of my nose and my Cupid's bow. Yeah. That works really nicely there. Probably for also your brow bone. Yep, that works out well. So I think for cheek highlighting, I do like this one better. Yeah, it just blends out a little bit better. I'm going to take a little bit of Marshmallow and just highlight like towards the very inner cheek, just because I want to go glam. I want extra glow. All right, now before I do setting spray, I'm going to go ahead and do my lower lash line, and then we're going to drown my face in setting spray. For my inner corner highlight, I'm going to take Starburst again. I love matching an inner corner highlight to a face highlight. And then I'm just going to take the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk and just throw that in my waterline. I've really been loving just like a white waterline lately, even with more toned down looks. It just makes me look a bit more awake, make my eyes look a little bit bigger. Yeah, time for the setting spray. Now, I purchased the Urban Decay All Nighter recently, and I forgot, like, I really don't like it that much. So I'm just finishing this up. There's only a little bit left, and then I go on top with the Scandinavia Makeup Setting Spray. And then normally I'd go into the little Fix Plus, but I think I can skip the Fix Plus for today. So we'll just go in with these two. Now that we're all dry, this turned out super cute. I liked it. All right, last two things to finish up. I'm going to do some mascara. I've got the Milk Makeup Kush Mascara, and then I'm going to do a little bit on the lips. Normally, and to be frank, really, I don't wear lipstick anymore. I wear chapstick, maybe some lip gloss, but in like the last year or two, the only times I've worn lipstick is to film. Got our mascara on. And then this is the Franken product I made for my last Petty Project pan. It is a combination of a Charlotte Tilbury lipstick. I can't do this while talking. Here we go. A Charlotte Tilbury lipstick and a Vaseline lip mask. And I think it matches this look perfectly. So here we have it. This is the final look, and these are my plans for my channel moving forward. No set schedule, most likely once a week. It's going to be whatever day of the week it happens to be, and I'm also looking at different times of day as well. I'm used to posting first thing in the morning, but honestly that is a little bit more difficult to do long term, so it'll just be whatever. So make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell notification so you're notified whenever videos do come out. Thank you guys for watching, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye.